Okay, so have you ever had one of those really huge goals?
Mm.
Maybe it's landing that absolute dream job or, completely changing your fitness, maybe even starting a business right from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal just feels massive, so big it actually like paralyzes you.
Yeah, that feeling is incredibly familiar to so many people.
Right. Like our listener Sarah, she wants to write a novel, but she just stares at the blank page, totally stuck.
Yeah.
Or David, thinking about getting fit. But the idea of some huge gym session just makes him, well, want to stay on the couch.
Exactly. That sense of overwhelm can make it so tough to even get started. Forget about keeping it going.
It really can.
And that's why this deep dive today is so important. We're looking at this idea inspired by the motivation material you sent over.
Yeah.
A concept that seems almost, well, too simple on the surface, maybe, but it holds just immense power. We're talking about the power of small wins.
The power of small wins. I like the sound of that. So our mission today really is to unpack how you can use these small wins, right?
Exactly.
How you can leverage them to push past that overwhelmed feeling, build some real unstoppable momentum, and actually see significant progress towards those biggest goals you have.
That's the plan. We'll pull the core ideas straight from the source material to guide us through it.
Okay, so let's start with that paralysis feeling, that sense of being, I don't know, at the bottom of a huge mountain.
Yeah, it's a perfect analogy. You look up and all you see is the summit, impossibly far away.
Right, and it's so daunting you forget entirely about the actual path. The little steps, the small ledges you could climb, the progress you could be making right now.
And that's precisely where the magic, if you want to call it that, of small wins comes in. They are those tiny, often unnoticed, sometimes seemingly insignificant achievements.
Uh-huh.
But when you string them together consistently, boom, they
Yeah.
create this massive ripple effect towards your bigger objectives.
So instead of that sheer cliff face,
Mm.
it's more like building a staircase, one little brick at a time.
That's a great way to put it. Building a staircase, much more manageable, isn't it?
Definitely. So what does a small win actually look like? Let's make it practical. Say you want to exercise daily, but like David, the hour-long workout feels suffocating.
Right, totally overwhelming. But what if that small win for today was literally just 5 minutes of stretching?
Just 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes, or maybe, a quick 10-minute walk around the block. That's it.
Okay.
And the beauty there isn't just, oh, I moved my body a bit, although that's good too, obviously.
Yeah.
The real power is psychological. You set a tiny goal, and crucially, you achieved it. Check.
Okay, so that psychological boost. Is there something more going on there, like biologically? Are these small wins actually, I don't know, rewiring our brains somehow?
That's a really important connection to make.
Yeah.
Because achieving even that tiny goal, it triggers a release of dopamine in your brain.
Nope, right. The feel-good chemical.
Exactly. But it's more than just feeling good for a second. That dopamine actually strengthens the neural pathways linked to that action. It's like your brain goes, ooh, that felt good. Let's make it easier to do that again.
Wow.
It's literally paving a sort of mental superhighway, marking that success as something worth repeating. So the next step feels easier almost. Inevitable, because you've primed that reward system.
So it's not just ticking a box on a to-do list. It's actually building this foundation, physiologically and psychologically, for more success down the line. That makes so much sense. Does that then create a kind of feedback loop, a positive one?
You absolutely hit on something crucial there.
Yeah.
A powerful positive feedback loop. The more small wins you rack up,
Yeah.
the more motivated you feel to tackle the next one, and then the next. You start building this momentum, often without even realizing just how far you've actually come.
And that must be great for procrastination too, right? Because big tasks feel so scary.
It's a direct antidote. Procrastination often comes from just how huge and daunting a task seems. But if you break it down, conquer one tiny piece, suddenly the whole thing feels less intimidating, less impossible, more doable.
Okay, I love this. This is where it gets really practical and useful for everyone listening. So if you're ready to actually apply this, how do you start? How do you weave this small win strategy into your daily life?
Yeah.
What are some concrete steps?
Great question. And the source material gives us some really solid, actionable tips. 5, in fact.
Okay, let's hear them.
First, identify your big rocks. You need to be clear on what those significant, larger goals actually are. What are you aiming for? Big picture.
Makes sense. Get clear on the destination.
Precisely. Second, and this is really key, break them down ruthlessly.
Ruthlessly.
Ruthlessly. Take those big goals and slice them up into the absolute smallest, most manageable steps possible. Really push yourself to think, What can I actually get done in just 5 minutes or 10 or 15?
Like cleaning the whole house feels huge.
Totally overwhelming, right? But what if your small win is just putting away 5 things in the kitchen that are out of place, or wiping down one counter? That's the ruthless breakdown. Small, achievable.
Okay, wow. That immediately makes it feel less scary, more approachable.
It does, doesn't it? The third tip is super important. Celebrate every win, no matter how tiny.
Celebrate, like throw a party.
Huh? Well, maybe not a full party for wiping a counter, but it's about internal recognition. Don't just brush it off and move on. Take a second, acknowledge it, give yourself a mental pat on the back, maybe jot it down, tell someone. That simple act of recognition, it reinforces the positive feeling, that dopamine kick we talked about.
Right, reinforcing the good stuff. Okay, what's number 4?
Fourth, focus on consistency, not perfection. This is huge. The aim isn't to nail every single step perfectly every single day. That's impossible, right?
Yeah, definitely.
The goal is just to consistently take those small steps forward. If you miss a day, it's okay. Just pick it back up tomorrow or whenever you can. Don't let striving for perfect stop you from making good progress.
Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. I like that. Okay, and the last one.
And finally, fifth, use a tracker. This could be anything, really. A physical planner, maybe a habit tracking app on your phone, even just a simple notebook.
Why is tracking so helpful?
Because seeing your progress is incredibly motivating. Looking back at all those little check marks, those completed small wins, it's a powerful visual reminder of how far you've actually come, even when it doesn't feel like it day to day.
Those are really practical tips. But I'm thinking about that. Celebrate every win, one, and also the consistency over perfection. What about people who are, real perfectionists? How do you shift that mindset when your inner critic is saying, yeah, but that tiny win wasn't perfect?
That's a really perceptive question because perfectionism can be a major hurdle here.
Right.
The shift comes, I think, from really internalizing that progress, not perfection, is what fuels momentum. The goal of the small win isn't a flawless outcome. The goal is simply taking the action and completing that tiny step. That's it.
The focus on the doing, not the judging of the doing.
Yeah. Exactly. And when you use that tracker we mentioned, you're not just logging tasks. You're building visual proof of your consistency. You're proving to yourself, hey, I can show up, even if it's small, even if it's messy, I did it. It helps you start appreciating the journey itself, not just fixating on the final destination.
Makes the whole process maybe more enjoyable.
And sustainable.
Definitely more sustainable. And remember what the source material said, right? Every master was once a beginner. And every huge success story, it's built on countless small, consistent efforts that nobody ever saw.
That's a great reminder.
Yeah.
So, okay, wrapping this up for you, our listener, the big takeaway here seems clear. These small wins, they aren't just minor things to ignore.
Not at all.
They're the fundamental building blocks. They empower you, one step, one dopamine hit at a time, towards those massive achievements.
And that leads us to a kind of challenge for you listening right now, a direct challenge, actually, from the source material itself.
Okay, what is it? Take one big goal you have, just one. For the rest of this week, starting today, your focus is simply this. Identify and achieve one small win towards that goal every single day.
Just one tiny step every day for this week.
Just one. And this is important when you do it. Pause just for a moment.
Pause.
Yeah. Pause and really appreciate what you just did. Feel that little buzz of accomplishment. Let it actually sink in.
Acknowledge the win.
Exactly. Because these small wins, they're way more than just steps on a path. They're powerful affirmations. They tell you about your own capability, your resilience. They prove your drive towards what you want.
Little reminders that you are moving forward.
Powerful reminders. You've absolutely got this.